This is News 6 Tonight.
So glad to have you with us on News 6 Tonight. We have the sports director, Jamie Say, in for Ginger Gadsden. She is always great to have around. And I got to tell you, I'm honored right here because Jamie Say is missing the Bills-Dolphins game right now.
The Bills
help
Dolphins.
me out with this show.
I know,
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal because it's rare that we see my Buffalo Bills on TV on a regular basis here because obviously they're in Buffalo. The Bills have been better over the years, so I get to see them a little bit more. But yes, right now the Bills are leading 14-7.
Yeah, so we're going to have a 2-hour show tonight. Just to mess with you.
Thanks so much, Matt.
We'll be wrapped up in 27 minutes flat, but glad to have you with us.
Great to be here.
And we have some interesting news tonight, especially this first one.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Death on a theme park ride.
Oh my gosh. I was racking my brain. So I've been in Central Florida for 15 years, as have you, right?
Yeah.
We don't remember that many cases of deaths at the theme parks on a thrill ride like that, especially because now we're finding out more about what happened at Epic Universe at Universal.
Right. It's a brand new coaster.
Yeah.
The thing just came out. So many questions when you hear about somebody dying on a roller coaster. Almost always it happens. A heart attack, stroke, somebody with some sort of condition. They even have the warning signs plastered outside so you don't go on these things. You kind of expect that. And we heard that someone died on this roller coaster. And then as details started to trickle out, he's 32 years old.
Yeah, so what could be wrong? And then a shock went through the newsroom when it was announced what happened. You know, his autopsy says, or the coroner says, blunt force trauma, multiple blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
So you wonder what happened on that coaster. Again, it's new at Epic Universe.
Yeah. And this thing can go 62 miles an hour.
And go very, very high.
130 feet in the air. So our community correspondent, Mike Valenti, actually found a woman who was on the coaster. She was a few rows ahead of this gentleman who died. Let's listen to her story.
There are still a lot of questions yet to be answered about what exactly happened to 32-year-old Kevin Rodriguez Zavala while riding the Stardust Racers roller coaster. He died of multiple blunt impact injuries.
I can't understand how that happens.
Colombian native Maria Fernandez decided to experience Stardust Racers for the 4th time of the night Wednesday. Her family took this video while she was on the ride, minutes before things took a frightening turn.
One girl started to say, "Help, help, help."
The ride ended, and Maria could hear screaming coming from several rows behind her.
After of that, all the people of security say to the people on the lane, get out, get out.
When she got out, she saw the man slumped over, and there appeared to be blood on his shirt, and staff were scrambling to pull the restraint off of him.
That was horrible.
As the Florida Department of Agriculture investigates, Universal is cooperating with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, adding in a statement that the park is devastated by this event. In light of the latest information that we received from the medical examiner's office, we reached out again to Universal, and we will let you know when we hear back.
So one thing you might think when hearing a story like this, could he have fallen off? But that is not the case. He was still on the coaster when they parked. We know that.
I mean, there's just so many questions, and I'm sure we're going to get some answers and more clarity in the days and weeks to come as this continues to be investigated. But how traumatizing is that for the folks that are on the roller coaster? The ride obviously has been shut down and will be for the foreseeable future until Universal makes a decision. But, you know, this is a ride. Again, it's only been open for a few months. You go on these thrill rides seeking a little bit of a scare,
Little
but
adventure?
you think, but you think you're going to be safe. So this is going to be a story we're going to follow and be very interested in. You know, we know Universal Studios, we know Disney and SeaWorld, and they take their safety to the highest level, you know, so seriously. So again, I can't recall deaths in a similar manner at the theme parks in my 15 years of being here. So it's very shocking.
Yeah, the only thing that pops out in my brain in the last 15
Yes.
years was there was a dueling coaster ride
Yes.
in which they were having an issue in which chains or something
Or
would
maybe
fall
a
out of
cell
people's
phone.
or a phone
Yes.
would, as these coasters were looping together,
Yes.
something would hit another person. I don't
was-
remember a death, but I do remember some pretty
right.
bad injuries.
You know, the one you're talking about is the former
It was Dueling
Dueling
Dragons,
Dragons,
yeah.
and then changed to Dragon Challenge. But when Dueling Dragons began, the two coasters would take off simultaneously. And I do remember that story. A projectile flew out of one of the coasters. You know, somebody had something in their pockets, which you're really not supposed to have, and hit somebody on the other coaster. And that's why they changed the start.
They staggered them.
They
right?
staggered them,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. I don't believe there was a death involved.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but I don't believe. But it did lead to change.
Yeah, I would have to look that. It just popped into my memory banks,
Yeah.
but that was many years ago. So I don't know. I don't understand how multiple, when they say multiple blood force trauma, that really makes you question what happened here.
It makes you think that this man, the victim, the man who died, because we don't know exactly how he died, was struck more than once by something. Okay, so multiple trauma, or was it, you know, was he shaking around and boom, boom? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know these things, but we do know his name was Kevin Rodriguez Zavala, you know, and I have questions about who this man was. Was he a tourist? Did he come here visiting, you know, waiting in line to check out this new ride? You know, who does he leave behind? I mean, it's really a tragedy, and I feel for his family, and I feel for our witness Maria from Mike's story, you know, who has to live through that trauma
It's the kind
too.
of thing that's hard. You see a body in that kind of shape, and
Yeah,
it
just
it haunts you.
yeah,
for
it
sure.
does. It does.
Okay, so another story that's been buzzing around the newsroom a bit. Always a difficult question for law enforcement is, when do you chase a suspect? One of the things that has popped up in, say, the last 10 years of being in the news business, we used to always call them police chases.
Yeah.
And then police, they don't really like that term. They like the term pursuits because they think it sounds better or something. I prefer to just say chase. I don't know, that maybe that's
Because-
just the old journalist. That's what's happening.
Because
you
it
know?
cuts to the chase. There's
does,
everybody
right.
knows. Okay, it's
Yeah.
a police chase. You know, is it a vehicular police chase? Is it on foot? But we know it's a chase. Okay, or a pursuit, kind of the same thing.
Right.
But right. I mean, it's a heat of the moment decision by police officers whether to pursue suspects of a crime in their vehicles, and it's up to them to weigh the dangers to the public. Right.
Right. And it is dangerous. We've seen in many cases where these things go wrong. So Flagler County Sheriff's deputies, they spotted a car connected to several burglaries. They started pursuing or chasing, whatever word you prefer. And it gets fast. They go against the flow of traffic, end up hitting a 71-year-old woman head on and killing her in this. Our community correspondent, Kat Silver, breaks down the details of the situation for us. Nope, we don't have it. Well, it's
But we saw the video. Well,
Yeah.
we've seen the video of the chase, and it was multiple police cruisers chasing a large SUV. They did try to use those stop sticks,
Mhm.
except the tires on that SUV were impervious to those. So the chase continues, and then that SUV starts going the wrong way on a separate road, and
Yeah.
that's when the collision happens and ends up killing the 71-year-old. Cat Silver did talk to Flagler County Sheriff Representative, a spokesperson, and they said, yes, we will. First, they said that the people that they were pursuing, the men in the vehicle, they were at fault. It was their fault, but they are going to investigate and look into the officer's action and see if, okay, could something have been done differently.
And I think that's important for them to point out. Yeah,
Yeah.
this person was running from police. Obviously, whatever happens rests mostly on their shoulders.
Right.
But there's always a fair question to ask. Was this a situation in which we needed to pursue and chase them down? If it starts escalating, do you fall back? Is the chopper available to just follow them from above? Or in some cases, do you just let them go? It's way out of my pay range
Right.
to try to figure that out, but I do think it's always a fair question to ask when a life
Yeah,
is lost from an
It,
innocent
it's an
bystander.
awful situation. It's one that the police can learn from, in the next experience, and again, I'm always interested in kind of the human aspect. Who are the officers behind the chase or pursuit? Is this something that happens quite a bit in Flagler County? We don't hear about it very
Yeah.
much. So,
Mhm.
what were they thinking? The crime that the alleged suspects committed were burglaries. Was that worth it with the chase? We don't know. It's a heat of the moment decision. And again, it's another story we'll be following as this investigation into their actions continues, and or a review of their actions. Maybe it's not an investigation, but a review.
Yeah, I'm sure that will
Yeah.
happen. More law enforcement news came out
Mm.
today. Osceola County, which I
Yeah.
think it's fair to say that whole county has been in turmoil the last few years as far as law enforcement is concerned.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had the Osceola County Sheriff. He's been suspended. He was accused in an illegal gambling operation, and we keep getting new details that trickle out about that.
Mhm.
A scandal rocked Kissimmee PD in 2023, in which body cam footage appeared to show that officers may have been lying in one situation. That led to an officer getting arrested, some others getting suspended. And then today,
And also it led to the chief's resignation
yes,
at
the
the
ch-
time.
yes, the chief is
Because
gone.
they were accused of covering up over aggressive tactics.
Mhm.
So, and now, Matt, you're going to talk about
Yeah.
it. I mean, there's another story involving Kissimmee Police.
And a higher up there,
Mhm.
somebody we've interviewed and done stories with in the past, we got word Kissimmee's Deputy Chief Wilson Munoz was placed on leave pending an investigation into some of his actions. So I want to go to Laverne McGee, our community correspondent. She'll give us the facts on this one.
Deputy Chief Wilson Munoz was interim chief after former police chief Betty Holland was being investigated and ended up resigning. 4 police officers were then fired, all accused of covering up aggressive police tactics. Well, now Munoz is under investigation, but they're not telling us what for. I recently interviewed him about a successful drug operation, and just yesterday I was here meeting with him discussing what they're doing about crime in the area. There were no signs of any issues. Deputy Chief Wilson Munoz has been with the force since 1999. He has been put on paid administrative leave while they're investigating. But once again, we're not being told anything else. A spokesperson confirmed the internal investigation is happening. They will not say what it's for. As soon as we get more details, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't tell us what the investigation is about,
Right.
at least generally, but we'll have to see. But I know the big piece of this story for me today is if you live in Kissimmee, if you live in Osceola County, the public trust in law enforcement
Right.
has been shaky lately, and stories like this certainly don't help.
Absolutely not. I mean, you mentioned the 2023 investigation into the Kissimmee Police Department, and this individual who is being investigated right now was the interim chief for a little while. And you mentioned Osceola County, and one of the biggest duties of police, whether it's the sheriff's department, whether it's police, is to instill trust, from the public. The public has to trust that.
Vital.
Yeah, but the and that's the thing. It's like there's there's not a lot of transparency right now in this internal investigation. They're not saying why. So it just leads to speculation. We don't know why Deputy Chief Wilson Muñoz is on paid administrative leave and subject to an internal investigation right now. So now you just assume things. So I don't think that's healthy. I mean, there's got to be a reason behind it. Maybe there's some human resources aspects and privacy issues. We don't know. But I think it's in Kissimmee PD's best interest is to be as transparent as possible, given the history of the department and what they're trying to move on from. And Deputy Chief Muñoz was part of that moving on, right?
Yeah.
And he's been part of the department since 1999. That's a long time, you know, that's 26 years. So now something's come up and residents in Kissimmee, residents in Osceola County don't know what's going on.
Yeah. They want to know. And so who knows?
They-
He will have his day in investigation and we will find out what this is eventually. And maybe he'll be presumed innocent. We have no idea at this point. But
They want to have faith in their police departments.
That they do.
The people that are protecting them.
And I think that's fair
Yep.
to ask for. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we've got an interesting story coming up after the fact. It has to deal with mobile homes and the land that they sit on. You're not going to believe some of the prices they are charging these people just to sit on this little piece of land. That's coming up after the break.
Yeah, and he got the link from the sheriff just a little while ago, I think. So we'll make sure we have that for News 6 tonight. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We know you're busy, but news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
That's right. And this is News 6 Tonight, where we leverage this entire busy newsroom with our community correspondents, our producers, our content desk, and then we filter through that. We have a casual conversation about the news that impacts Central Florida.
Yeah, we live here in the community, and we rely on you for our neighborhood network because you're our eyes and ears as well, and we can't do it without you.
So you can watch us all over the place, YouTube, News 6 Plus app, and clickorlando.com. While you're here, feel free to engage. Let us know who you are and where you're from. Welcome back to News 6 Tonight. Bill's up 14-7. Jamie Say was making sure to check in the break.
Just had to check.
That's right. It's
Had to
good
check.
that you can watch this while watching the game. It's called
Absolutely.
two-screen. Little two-screen action.
You can do, dual screen.
That's what we
I mean,
do.
what could be better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Get
we're-
all of it.
Yeah, and we're here with you too.
Yeah, so we'll all watch the game together. Our investigator, Lewis Bolden, he has been covering this crisis that has been interesting to see. So people living in mobile homes. You buy a mobile home, and a lot of people don't understand this. So you spend the money on the mobile home. It's obviously less expensive than, say, a normal structure of a house. But the way it works in a lot of these mobile home parks, most of them, in fact, is you get this home for a lower price, and then instead of having to buy the land, someone else owns it, and you lease
Yes.
the land. So you own this mobile home to save money, and then back in the day, you would lease the land. It would be fairly cheap.
Right.
But
It's an affordable way to live in Florida.
We have an
It
affordable
always has been.
housing crisis in
Crisis,
Florida. A lot of
yes.
people have moved to these mobile homes as some sort of answer. Just
A
keep a
lot of
roof over their heads.
seniors live there. You know, this
This is
is
true.
they're coming from other places. This is where they retire. I know a lot of seniors who have moved from the north into mobile home
Yeah.
parks.
Yeah, it's true. It
Because it's
happens.
affordable.
And, you know, and some of them are really nice looking. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
we have one right down the road from here. It looks,
Yeah,
it's a great little place.
They're
to live.
kind of called manufactured homes now.
Yeah.
You know, going away from mobile homes, manufactured homes.
A lot of them don't even have wheels. You know,
Right.
it's just basically that's the
It's just,
structure.
you know, they're put in there,
Yes.
right? They're transported and put in there.
So what some companies have done over the past 5 years or so, especially, they have
Since
bought up
since
COVID.
Since COVID,
Yeah. They bought up these mobile home parks and they're like, we
let's
could
make some
charge
more money.
people pretty much whatever we want because we own the land under their homes. And so they have jacked up the prices significantly. I'm talking, a lot of these places don't have HOAs. You know, it's not like they have a bunch of pools and gyms and stuff.
Right. It's
just
the
the land.
land. It's the land. And I watched Lewis's story and was flabbergasted by the percentage of the rent rate. Like, it was
How much
crazy.
it's jumped.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is in Pasco County, so it's not around here. However, if it's happening in Pasco County, there's got to be some other places where it's happening too.
It's a reflection of what's going on all over Florida. Let's
Yeah.
take a look at Lewis's story.
What are you thinking about?
How am I going to make it?
Berghold lives at the Highlands at Scotland Yards, a manufactured home community in Pasco County. She was paying around $600 a month in lot rent, but in January, her rent jumped to $1,300 a month. To get out of the costly rent, Berghold put her home on the market twice with few offers, and she's not alone.
I'm going to drop the price, and I'm going to drop the price until I can get out of it.
Donna Reed has been trying to sell her home as well as others in the same community.
They'll say, "What's the lot rent?" And I'll say, "Oh, it's $1,441.59." And they're like, "Are you crazy?"
Reed and Berghold are among a group of residents now suing the property owner, Legacy Communities. The issue, a lot rent increase of up to 126%.
Residents claim 126% is far above what's allowed in their lease.
This prospectus has basically two different rents. One of them tries to keep you with CPI, Consumer Price Index, and the other one says that if you want to approach market rent and market rent is higher, you can do CPI plus 2%. So for this year, they should have had an increase of 5% versus 126%.
Reach out to the folks who own this mobile home park to try to give them, some semblance of a response. A lot of times they don't respond, and so I think we're still waiting on a call back.
Yeah,
from
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those times when they were not responding, and he did reach out multiple times. But how cute are those homes, and how heartbreaking is it that that woman that Lewis talked to, her solution is to try and sell
And who's going to
her
buy it?
home, and nobody's going to buy it because on top of the manufactured home that you purchase, you have to pay $1,300 a month, which
Right.
is
And
the rent
that's
on
this year.
Yeah, that's
You could
this
buy
year.
that thing.
Exactly.
Who would risk paying that? Okay, say, oh, this cute house is adorable. I'm getting a deal. Obviously, she's going to have to eat a bunch of money. But then maybe next year it's $1,500. Maybe the year after it's $2,000.
It could be 2000. I mean, and the affordable housing crisis gets even worse here in our state. This is a wonderful place to live, and so many people know that, and that's why they come here. And they wait to retire because that was a retiree that Lewis talked to. And now her solution is to try and sell, and she can get rid of it.
Which is sad. And
It's
some
very
people
sad.
might ask at home, why not just, if you can move that house, take it to another piece of land? Well, let me tell you, I found out I was doing a story in one of these communities, and the lady told me, oh, yeah, if we want to move, it costs $10,000. You have to pay them to be able to leave.
So you have to pay that
Which they don't
company.
have to pay.
Yeah. And it's like, like how, seniors on fixed incomes don't have 10 grand to spend to move their house to another place
And buy the next
buy
place.
the next place. Yeah. That's just, it's just awful. And, we hope somebody can give somebody a break, but it just feels like it's another result of COVID about how companies have bought in and bought a lot of real estate around here.
Yeah, it's true. All right, we need to get to Jonathan Kegas, our meteorologist. He's been taking a look at the weather where you live, and as we get closer and closer to this weekend, we're almost there. Jonathan, it's probably not going to be as nice as that last unicorn of a weekend we got.
No, it's not going to be as nice, but it's not going to be terrible. It's just going to be a little more humid out there today, or this weekend. You can kind of feel it building back in over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the drier side, though, so we do have that going for us. If you have plans outside, that's going to be the fun part of it. I will say, though, we talked about this a little last night. We are turning a corner. Certainly, you can see it getting darker way, way earlier out there right now. But the average temperature continues to drop. So today was our last day that we had an average high temperature of 90 degrees, and it is going to continue to take a tumble tomorrow and through the first day of fall. We're kind of covering up for the fall portion. our average high goes down to 89. And then once we get towards Halloween, our average high temperature drop. That's a significant drop. Our average high is back down to 81. And that
Sounds
tumble
pretty sweet.
81. Perfect.
And you
Tim
see
Brown.
what happens by the time. Yeah. So I think we'll take that for sure.
We'll take
now
it.
we know it can get a lot hotter than that on Halloween. Certainly, we've had Halloween evenings in the 90s before.
Yeah.
So that's just the average temperature, not a forecast. I wish I could forecast out that far. But nonetheless, we'll take it. Coming up at 9:30, we're going to go extensive into the tropics. Gabrielle, I mean, it's hardly a tropical system right now. So we're going to take a look at that and a look at the weekend ahead. If you have plans out there, we're going to go in depth with some of that stuff and the weather patterns coming in for the weekend, guys.
All right, Jonathan Kegas. Look forward to that at 9:30. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about Jamie Say's favorite subject when we get back, Bill Belichick.
I thought you were going to say football.
Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also, good looking. Because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down
Oh my
below.
gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh.
Big weekend of college football, as always, but the hoodie is coming to town. Bill Belichick in North Carolina takes on UCF 3:30 on Saturday, and the Knights Matter extra motivated because of the word central.
Central.
Central. So what happened was last week, Bill Belichick was asked about UCF after this one game that the Tar Heels played, and he called them Central football. Didn't say Central Florida, didn't say UCF, he said Central football.
Disrespect. Get our name out your
Disrespect.
mouth.
Yeah, so UCF Knight Nation has taken that to heart. So a little extra motivation that the hoodie doesn't know.
I bet his 24-year-old girlfriend knows the real name
For
of
sure.
UCF. Wonder if she'll be here. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.